Smoking barrels. I'm gonna shave my head and put on a Cuban military jacket and start a fucking rally about this shit.
Smoking barrels. Timmy, you never win anything in the claw machine.
Smoking barrels.
I just said fuck on our podcast.
You're listening to the Smoking Barrels podcast with Mike and Ben.
So listen, Michael, we're friends. You've known me a while, right?
Right.
You can tell when I'm genuinely upset about something and when it's just like you're laughing about it, pretending to be angry.
Yeah. No,
Okay. Well, I'm genuinely upset about something. We need to talk about this.
Okay.
Okay. Let me set the scene. A while back, I was having a great Friday night. All right. Excellent. Good day at work. Everything was going fine. Come home. A couple friends of mine. We went out to a bar here near where I live. Mm-hmm. And I sat down thinking, you know what? This is good times we're having right now. I'm enjoying myself. Everything was fine. Got handed a menu. It was kind of a cool, like, I don't know, place with a lot of craft beers and all that stuff. It was good. So I pick up the menu. I look, and there was a flight of deviled eggs. Right?
Right.
I love deviled eggs.
I know you do.
And you know that a place gives a fuck about what they're trying to do if they advertise a flight of deviled eggs. It's like $7 or $8.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy shit, I'm all over this. So I ordered this flight of deviled eggs. It takes a little bit long time, but it's all right, fine. It's a hole-in-the-wall place. That's okay.
Right.
Guess what I got? Right? First of all, for $7 or $8, a flight of deviled eggs, you're thinking 4, 5, really 6 probably eggs. Okay. I got a little plastic tray with 3 soggy fucking eggs in it with no like real garnish whatsoever. And I mean, she was walking over to me, the waitress, to hand them to me, and the smile just faded from my face. And to add into stop laughing. I'm trying. I got to finish the story. You know, okay. To add insult to injury, she put down the way she set down the plate was just like a half-assed kind of just like cluttered it down on the table haphazardly, not even really in front of me. And so here I am. I'm actually a bit stunned at this point, as if things have taken a turn in my evening with with these deviled eggs. And so, you know, I look around at my friends who also know me and know how upset I would be about something like this. They're looking at me waiting for a reaction, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm like, this is actually... I actually feel a bit insulted by this experience because I ordered an $8 flight of fucking deviled eggs, and I got 3 soggy ass bullshit eggs on a plastic tray slapped down in front of me. I was upset. I mean, tell me I'm wrong to be upset about that.
Okay, let's take it back here. Was it a bar?
Yes.
Okay, it was a hole in the wall bar, and you're like, you know what? Deviled eggs. It sounds about right. First off, what the hell kind of bar sells deviled eggs?
The kind that gives a shit. That was my thinking, though.
That's such a weird thing to do. Like, if I see deviled eggs in the menu of a dive bar, I'm thinking, okay, this is probably going to be like the greasiest, grossest thing ever.
No.
What? You're too trusting very clearly, because I would have been like, ew, deviled eggs at a dive bar? What the hell?
No, I disagree profoundly. My thinking on this was if they take the time to put that on the menu, because that's not an easy thing to prepare and all this stuff. If they care enough to do it, it means they have to be good, because otherwise they wouldn't even bother, right? It's a little dive bar. They would just serve beer and like some chips or something. I mean, it was insulting. For $8, I got that.
I love how you're like, they just slapped it down on the table. Like, right, I was insulted.
And they knew what they were doing.
Do you think the waitress was like, oh, here's the first pretentious douchebag in 8 years of this bar being open that buys deviled eggs?
No, how could you deviled eggs are amazing. They're so good. And I expected something that had a little effort put into it. And instead it was like, I mean, you could have bought these like with saran wrap over them from Kroger. I mean, they were even worse than that, and they were $8, man. I paid $6 for some bullshit craft beer I didn't even really like, but I had to pretend to like because you're there. You know what I'm saying?
So it sounds like you were thinking, oh man, they're probably going to play Mozart too, but instead you got Twisted Sisters.
No,
we're not going to take, and you're like, what the hell?
It's not deviled eggs are pretentious in your mind?
Well, at a dive bar, yes. At a dive bar, you get beer, cheese, and pretzels. You get a burger. You get chicken. You get fries, wings. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the options.
But if they offer deviled eggs, aren't you going to be kind of impressed with their variety? Be like, oh, okay, this they're trying to be something.
I want to be like, holy shit, why do they have deviled eggs at a dive bar?
No, I can't.
That's my first question. Actually, I'll ask the waitress. I'll be like, first off, what do you recommend if I'm really not sure what I want, even though that doesn't often happen? Second off, it'll be like, what the hell? Why do you have deviled eggs on this menu? And if she doesn't have the explanation, I'm going to be like, well, where's the manager? And if he doesn't have the explanation, where's the owner or the chef? Because I need to know. I need to get to the bottom of this. This is why you have deviled eggs at a dive bar.
You're crazy, dude. I was so excited, man. Dive bars have some hidden gems. Like that's what they're known. That's why they have some appeal, right? You go there and you're pleasantly surprised with the experience.
But it's bar food. You're surprised by their bar food. The best wings I've ever had are at a pizza place.
No, I was more than surprised. I was insulted by their food.
It's bar. No bar in this country, in the world, maybe except for France, because God help those people. But no bar in the world sits there and goes, "Yes, we're known for our deviled eggs."
Yeah, but
that doesn't exist.
But wouldn't you go to one if they were? You'd be so interested.
I'd be so confused.
No,
I'd be
you're
interested and
crazy.
confused. I'd go get a beer there just to be like, "What the hell's with the deviled eggs?"
I can't believe you're saying this. I thought you'd take my side on this.
I take your side in the fact that they brought out a crap product because I feel like if you're going to sell something, you should at least put some kind of effort in. I would give you that. At the same time, though, you should have understood what you were getting when it's deviled eggs at a dive bar.
No, I felt actually, I'll go a little bit further. Not only did it severely hamper my enjoyment with my friends that evening, I actually felt personally disrespected by these deviled eggs. That's how bad they were. I actually felt personally disrespected.
You ever see that commercial in the 80s with the Native American guy where he sees all the trash everywhere and he just cries that one shed, like that single tear?
Yes.
That's what I imagine you doing. You just like turn to the fake camera and you're just like, you cry a little bit and you're like, this is my life now.
I feel like I have some insight into his suffering as a result of this experience.
Good. I'm glad. Trail of Tears, no deviled eggs. Or crap deviled eggs. I'm sorry, crap deviled eggs.
Yeah,
there were deviled eggs.
Overpriced, lackluster deviled eggs.
So wait, how much were they? $8?
$8. Wow. For 3.
For 3 deviled eggs.
That's bullshit.
That's not even a meal.
No, exactly.
Well,
It's supposed to be, and for that you'd expect like an $8 appetizer. You're like, okay, this is like some shit that we're gonna share, and like it's gonna be you know what I'm saying? No. 3 eggs. There were 4 fucking people.
Yeah, no. Can I have one of those? No, because if I don't eat all 3 of these, I'm gonna probably starve because there's no food here.
Yeah, we're all drinking their watered down bullshit beer anyway.
Also, I don't get like, I mean, if you fuck up a Bud Light, you shouldn't be a bar anyway. And they did, so hopefully they didn't like do that. What kind of beer did you got? Like a craft beer there?
Yeah, I got some local beer that I forget what it was called now. Goodwood, maybe something like that. It's made here in town, but they age it in bourbon barrels.
Right.
And you know, it would have been interesting actually if they'd had something to do, like if they'd done like we're doing deviled eggs with a bourbon theme or something. But no, you say it's a deviled eggs flight. Like a flight of whiskey when you go to a bar, it's like, okay, they really give a shit about whiskey. They want you to try different things, and you know, they really care about the product they're selling. That's what, maybe I'm crazy. That's what I read into a flight of something, is like, hey, look, we really give a shit. They're all different. They're all.
Was this a beer place, like a big craft beer place, or was it just like any dive bar in America, or what was their specialty? What kind of bar were they?
I don't. People liked their burgers, but I think they were just known as like, it was just like the corner bar of that area.
Okay, because I know those craft beer places like are craft beer, and then by the way, we also have snacks which are fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
but for $8,
I'm not paying $8 for deviled eggs anyway, unless it's like. Unless the chef comes out, delivers them to me by hand, and says, "I made each of these with every bit of love," and the chickens, the little chicks that these eggs were made out of, were killed in the womb, but they were Jesus chicks. They were going to be the chicks that saved all chickens.
Michael, that's what I expected. Because why else would you put fucking deviled egg flight on your menu, unless you want me to buy that experience?
Did it put in the number of? Not Chick-fil-A. God, no.
No, they did not put the number.
They did not
of
put
eggs.
the number. Okay.
No, which is bullshit. Also.
Well, I'd agree because a flight it's up to complete.
Well, you'd think like a whiskey flight. I've had ones that are 4, but then most of them are 5 or 6.
Right. Well, I think
3.
I think it's like you take these. I'm just so dumbfounded by the story of like you expected. But I'll put it this way. If you sit there and do say, I'll give them this. If you say 3 deviled eggs, which are like the size of maybe $50,
Yeah.
for $8, Nobody's gonna buy them anyway, so I will at least give them that because at least they know that they need to lie in order for people to buy this.
Just take them off the menu.
Okay, but let me pose this question to you.
Okay.
You get 3 deviled eggs when they say a flight for $8. What if they are the Jesus Chick eggs, like the best eggs in the entire world?
Then I wouldn't have been so disappointed. I mean, I still would have been like, okay, probably should have been more.
Right.
But if they were really good, like if they had some interesting garnishes,
Right.
some smoked salmon on top of them, or something interesting like I've seen at other places, that's what I expected. That's what a flight is for.
Right.
Otherwise, they've just been like, oh, here's like our $2.50 for 6 shitty bar deviled eggs. I'd be like, okay, that's kind of weird that they put that on there, but all right, I paid so little for it. That's fine. We can all have some.
I mean, you probably know the chef's in the back. He's like some 55-year-old man with a hairnet and a cigarette in his hand who's like, I'm making burgers. Somebody brought deviled eggs. I'm going to probably spit in that guy's food. What a jerk.
Well, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. That's just that really got under my skin. I feel like I had to open the podcast with that. But
Okay.
real quick, we are drinking Four Roses small batch whiskey. It's one of my favorite budget whiskeys. We both have a glass. We're gonna try not to set them down on the table so the mic picks them up real hard. But I believe you also had something that you felt you had to get off your chest as well.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff today. Like at my job, which is, we'll put it this way. I'm not going to say the place, but it's not Walmart. A mother came in today with her son and walked up to my brother, who also works there with me, and said, do you have over-the-counter lice medicine? And I was sitting there, and he came over and told me this story. I'm like, what the hell kind of lunatic mother brings her son, who has lice, to get lice medicine at not Walmart? I mean, he's going to be giving people lice, and go to the fucking doctor, man. Like, you got over-the-counter stuff. Like, there's one over-the-counter lice medicine for a reason, because you go to the doctor to get this shit prescribed. Like, you're an idiot. What the hell's wrong with people?
How many people did you think he infected? Like, was he running around?
Well, he was just walking around with his mom, and I'm like, leave the kid home.
Scratches his hair, touches some
Yeah,
merchandise.
I swear to God, if I have lice, I'm gonna find that guy. I don't know what he looks like. He could be any kid in the world. I'm probably gonna have to lay down the smackdown upon his mom or him, because
Yeah.
I am like that's disgusting, man. Come on, have some self-control and leave the kid home, and maybe come yourself, but be wearing like a freaking babushka or a ball cap, because I don't want that in a store that people go to.
A lice babushka.
Yeah.
Like, I love how that's what you defaulted. Not a hat or anything. You were saying
Like a bonnet, like
one of those like old Russian women wear.
yeah, like exactly, like Bulgaria. They probably got lice babushkas.
I didn't even think you necessarily needed lice medicine. You just shave your head and then
You shave your head, or you get like shampoo and you wash it out of your hair. But like usually it's
you're clipping the mic a little bit, my friend. There.
sorry, but usually it's like.
You're talking about your babushkas.
But it's like the look you gave. You're like your eyes like popping out. You're like,
Sorry,
No.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was
but
taking.
like no, it's so you get lice, you get shampoo and you just wash it out. But usually it's prescribed. So like you think, I don't know, my kid's sick. What do? Let's take him everywhere and get him and infect everybody. No, take him to a doctor.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
What the hell's wrong with people?
No, I'm with you there. So when you say not Target, oh shit. When you say not Walmart, you mean the other large department store.
Yes,
and
I
you-
am, of course, talking about Meijer. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The red one.
Oh man, I had to lower your mic level a little bit because you got so worked up about that story.
Shocking. You have to turn my mic level down.
Do you know the kid's name?
No,
Or
I'm
did you
sure
ever-
it was like Dirt Grub or something. Or like Pigpen.
All right. Well, speaking of things that piss you off at work, I had somebody come into my office, and they did that thing that people do where they talk on speakerphone even though everyone else is around them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You and I had an experience at a fast food place we were eating at not too long ago around here, and there were kids here getting ice cream and shit, and this fat sassy black lady's on her phone talking about, oh hell no girl, fuck that shit, and all these people are looking. She's
Yeah.
like screaming into her speakerphone.
She was
in
talking
public.
about it like, I don't know why you fucked him on his birthday, girl. I was like, I'm sorry? Like,
It's like,
this is not talk in public.
It's just so disrespectful to everyone.
I mean, maybe that's what I should start doing. Just go around like, oh yeah, man, I totally banged this chick, and people like look over at me really confused. Like,
You can talk around while you're head lice. You're talking to speakerphone. Oh yeah, man, I'm riddled with head lice.
yeah, no, I'm disgusting, and I like to thank the world for hearing about my head lice, and I hope everybody here gets infected. By the way, I'm looking at you, old lady.
I could not stand that, man. I mean, I wasn't able to enjoy my meal because she was just screaming into her. I mean, and her friends were over there like laughing and joking around with her and all that stuff. I'm like, you guys are in public. I mean, at what point in your life did you? Actually, you know what? I know exactly what happened. She tried it once and got away with it, and now thinks that's socially acceptable because nobody's willing to say, "Hey, that's rude as hell. Can you shut up?"
Which, I mean, it is dangerous because it's like, hey, can you stop talking on speaker, asshole? And regardless of who it is, they'll be like, shut the fuck up. And they'll just turn the other way and be like, I don't care what that rude guy said. And it's like, I'm the rude one. Aren't you the one that's sitting there talking in your speakerphone in public?
I hate that crap.
I'm trying to eat a meal, man.
The only thing worse than that is the people with the Bluetooth things that are always talking loudly about.
So you mean insert Russian cab driver from New York then? I mean,
yes.
Like, because this is the only people I've ever seen is like people that are not from this country, because in 2006 and 7 those things were white hot and everybody wore them.
Yeah.
And I guess like things haven't quite caught up in the rest of the world that like you don't wear a Bluetooth earpiece anymore. So like it's basically everybody that's come here from Eastern Europe now has a
it just now got to
earpiece.
Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Those Motorola jawbones.
They still got Blockbuster over there probably. Speaking of Blockbuster, I saw a thing the other day. Like there's one remaining Blockbuster. What state do you think it's in?
Alaska.
Texas.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no, there was 2 in Alaska, and they closed down, and there's 1 in Texas left, and they're like, so how come people like keep going to your store? And they're like, I don't know, we got a pretty loyal fan base. I'm like, I feel like a lot of companies have said that before, and they have gone out of business.
Yeah.
Like diehard Circuit City fans. Man,
I just love my service with Bell South.
I mean, and they're like, you still got the popcorn and the movie snacks, and it's like,
Do they still do that?
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, they're probably like $8 a piece. They're probably like as much as your deviled eggs. I could get some of those bars deviled eggs and to watch this movie. Like and they're like, but the people like it was a national news corporation. They were like, so what about the VHSs? Do you still sell any of those? He's like, no, we don't have any of those. Like, if you were still selling VHSs, I will lay odds you would have gone out of fucking business.
That's
by
amazing, actually, if they can make a business model sustainable.
Like, they're like, the parking lot's always full on Saturday night. And I'm like,
yeah, right.
why?
Does nobody have internet? Well, that might be it, actually.
Well, yeah, that's definitely what it is. I mean, what did God and Wi-Fi forget exactly where you're at? Or are you like in the middle of the desert?
Oh man! Hey, speaking of that for some reason that jarred my memory. You had a who was it? You had a story about that you
What is it? The Sierra Mist?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so
I'm desperate to know this story.
Our friend goes to the Louisville Bats, the local AAA game, and he goes and he's buying a pizza, and those people that work there are volunteers. They're trying to make money for their baseball team or whatever. They're not. Yeah, it's mostly volunteers.
Oh.
So this dude rolls up, he gets a slice of pizza, and he's like, "Yeah, can I get a Sierra Mist?" And the guy just looks at him dumbfounded and just responds with one word: "Who?"
No, that says so much about the type of people who work there.
And then in the background, it's like, he wants a Sierra Mist. And it's like, what does that? Who is Sierra Mist?
Sierra Mist is probably a former volunteer.
Yeah, it's the gross Sprite. Like that's how that's what you should have said. Or you
it
should have
is
just
though.
Gotten it before. Like after that, I can't drink a Sierra Mist anymore without thinking of like, I look at the can and I'm just like, who?
What do you think 7-Up fits in the Sprite 7-Up Sierra Mist hierarchy?
So it goes Sprite's number 1, obviously.
Definitely.
Sierra Mist is number 2 because it's a Pepsi product. 7-Up's would like those weird drinks like Sunkist and Barks. So it's like,
doesn't it just taste like Sprite though?
yeah, I mean it does, but at the same time they don't have the same market share. Like everybody knows Pepsi's second.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this last week when like the Sunkist people were rolling by. How must it feel to the people in corporate being like, we're the 3rd best soda company? Because it's like,
out of what, like 4?
yeah. Because there are people like, Who, like, the people that go to Blockbuster, it's like, why do people still go to Blockbuster? Well, because we can't get Wi-Fi out here, and people still like having a DVD in their hand. Like, why does anybody drink your soda? Well, because people on a budget need to drink a 7-Up or a Barks, man. It's our product is a niche market, man. It's hip. It's cool. No, it's not.
No. 7-Up is not cool.
Really, all you got to do, clearly, because Coke did it, all you got to do is put somebody's name on it, and the people will buy it. I mean, oh, man, Jennifer. I got a niece named Jennifer. I'll see in 6 months. I'll pick this up for her.
Yeah, people especially, they rolled that out really well because there was a girl I was dating at the time who went to Europe, and they had rolled that out in Europe first, where they had names on the cans and all that stuff. So whenever you went to a market that had it, you would buy one for all the people you knew or whatever, and you come back. And then they rolled it out here, and it worked in reverse. I mean, they really knew what they were doing with that. That's a cheap, easy way to get people to give a shit.
In Europe, what kind of names do they have on there? Like Mikolos?
Well, no, it was in England that she went to, so it was a lot of similar names to here. But yeah, I guess you'd have some weird ones if they did.
Like what's
Spain or France or something.
Todd? Is Todd an English name?
I guess,
or
yeah.
Walt?
Well, you think about it, probably, Walter definitely is. That's definitely English. But you think about all of our names, probably are English if you have like a Anglicized name or whatever.
Mike is Israeli, is Hebrew.
Michael, Benjamin is too.
Yeah,
means mine means son of my right hand, which I can assume means that it's there was a guy who masturbated a lot.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And they named him Benjamin.
Mine means one who is like God, so I can't imagine a worse name for me because that's a really no.
I got something else I want to gripe about.
Okay, let's do it.
Man, we're just rolling on the upset. We're just upset about stuff today. A couple griping old men.
That's all right.
All right, so listen. I got a new roommate here in my house. A couple guys moved out. They're well on their way, doing their own thing.
Right.
And then another friend of mine moved in. Guy I like quite a bit, but he's a vapist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He vapes.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the kind of guy who wants to tell you about his vapes and about his build and about how cool this new vape he got is. And I am there's probably nothing in modern culture these days that I hate more as an idea than vaping.
I buy that.
I can't. And there's such a sense of, so if you got a guy who's like one of the last holdouts of the cigarette smokers,
right,
who's been like steadily declining for like 40 years or whatever. Although I've heard it's going back up, interestingly, slightly. For the first time. You hope so.
Yeah, I like the tobacco company. I like the tobacco industry. It employs a lot of people, and I feel like smoking gets a bad stigma because it's like it causes cancer. Well, so does everything. So does the sun, for God's sakes. Okay,
that's true.
Let's chill out there on like smoking's bad for you. So is weed and crack, but people are cool with it. So you know what?
Yeah. Well, so it's like fast food.
I'm sorry, people are cool with weed.
I was gonna say who's like, hey, chill, man. Crack's cool. Everybody's cool with that.
Meth Head Carl's all about it, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like the difference is the people that smoke cigarettes were very, very like considerate of others when it came down to like the bans of you can't do it in this place or in restaurants or whatever. They would totally like. Maybe it annoyed them a little bit, but I feel like they were very cool with that. They'd be like, "Oh, do you mind if I smoke?" Or they'd move away from everybody else. Vapists, as I call them, those tools who suck on their douche flutes all the time. You like that one?
I do that.
They have such a sense of like, oh, it's fine, like everybody's cool with it, or / they don't care about if anybody's cool with it or not, and they'll do it like in your car, they'll do it in your house. Right. And they won't even ask, like, do you mind if I suck on my douche flute? No, they won't even do that.
It smells like sweet tarts. I don't care.
I don't want it.
Choking me, man.
I hate watching you do it. I like you less as a friend while I'm watching you do this. And you don't even ask if it's okay to do, like, cover my entire car in your stupid cloud of bullshit.
Here's the thing about cigarette smokers. I felt like there's always this camaraderie there with them. Because it's like, hey, can I bum a cig off you? They'll hand it right to you. And then it's like, can I have a light? Somebody would always have a light. Now it's like, oh, can I have some of that? No, man, I gotta get more vape juice. And they sit there with like they're like little chemists, like Walter White and shit, and they just try to put it like squeeze it in there together, and they sit there and like blow it in your face. Oh, the wind's blowing right back towards you. Oh, it's like,
oh, check it out, man. It's Waterbury Burberry bullshit.
Yeah.
My favorite new flavor.
Yeah, no, let's go to the vape shop. Here's the thing.
There are so many vape shops around here now.
Oh, they're white hot. I mean, everybody's like, oh, man, gotta go to the smoke shop. Oh, cool. What are you getting? Oh, weed or vape juice. Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't people doing THC infused stuff to get high in those things too? Yeah.
It's all. Yeah, the kind of places that bum me out are the ones that like have on their like the stores that have no smoking and then right under it or vaping like that. Those are not the kinds of places I want to attend because those are the kinds of people that go there. They're like, yeah, let me check my Instagram vape selfie. And it's like,
God.
what the hell?
People doing vape tricks.
Yeah.
Where they, I mean, what? Oh, you can blow a fucking smoke ring. Congratulations, Gandalf. Why don't you get the fuck out of my car?
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, I'd check out these sweet vape moves, 50,000 views. What? Why are people watching this?
I can't believe it, dude. And it's actually way worse. I wish they just smoked cigarettes, honestly.
I do
Because
too.
cigarette smokers don't fucking talk about it like it's a legit hobby in and of itself, right? Because it's not. You bought something and now you suck on it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's your fucking hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, shut the fuck up.
It sounds like prostitution.
It
honestly.
just sounds dirty when you put it that way.
Yeah, you bought it and suck on it.
You bought something from the internet, probably, and then you sit there and you suck on it in front of your friends. I mean, congratulations, you're a fucking vapist.
Yeah.
I don't want to hang out with you. And those places that put the signs up, I sympathize. Because if you're one of those, like, stores around here where it's got, like, a cool, it's like a vintage clothes store, right? Around here, for some reason, that can survive. It's been there for like 20 years. But you just know they're having an influx of vapists who shop there. Because the amount of people who would shop there and the amount of people who would suck on douche flutes is a huge overlap. So they're gonna walk in and suck all over your store.
Yeah, people are gonna be coughing over the lung and just be like, "Oh, it's cool, man. I got a vape. It's okay."
Yeah, I hate that. And
Blueberry.
they defend it, saying it's healthier and all that stuff. Which undoubtedly, it's probably better objectively than smoking.
Right.
But we don't know. It's only been around for less than a decade. We don't have long-term studies yet.
Not to mention the fact that regardless of what you're doing, inhaling anything into your lungs is not good for you. I mean, let's just be honest here. So it's kind of a given that it's bad for you, but it's not like there's not this stigma yet. I'm hoping for at some point there's going to be this stigma of
So do
like,
I.
it will kill you. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, thank God people are going to stop vaping now.
People are like, oh, it's fine to put in the lungs, it's just water vapor. And I'm like, oh, so water belongs in the lungs, does it?
Yeah. They
Have you ever
these-
seen somebody who drowned?
And they have these stupid ass commercials too. It's like, oh man, cigarettes racially profile. Cigarettes try to go after the dumb people.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a dumbass? And it's like, I don't care, man. If you want to smoke a cigarette, that's your choice and do it. And it doesn't really impede on me because there's like smoking areas everywhere. You can't smoke anywhere anymore except for your own house.
Yeah.
Like the people that piss me off are the people that are vaping. That are like you said, check out my build. It's like, oh, looks like a pen that
Looks
you're
like it costs
putting your mouth on.
$49.99 off Amazon.
Yeah, I could buy a pack of cigs for $5. I have to buy like vape juice for 12 and a vape pen for 35. Get the hell out of here.
It's not even remotely like tobacco can be interesting in a way,
Right.
like classy in a way.
Right.
Like if it's a people used to buy cigars. Maybe they still do. I don't know if this is still a thing, but it's a boy, it's a girl
Right.
cigars or whatever.
Right.
Like tobacco, admittedly, does not belong in the way that it was here in the 50s, where absolutely everybody was smoking at 16 for the rest of their lives or whatever.
Right.
Fine, but tobacco has a role to play. I don't believe for a second that vaping has a role to play in society in that way at all.
Well, instead of like a wedding, it'll be like, we now have a civil union. Break out the vape pens. It's like,
Oh.
God. No, you're getting married. No, civil union. It's 2018. Come on,
I'm
man.
gonna do my impression of somebody pulling on a vape. And now everybody around you is looking at you. They dislike you. They can smell your pineapple bullshit.
Right.
It's insufferable.
But hey, now they get the attention though, because those eyes on them, that's what they're like, yeah, people think I'm pretty cool. No, we don't. We think
No.
you're an ass.
Yes.
You're like the least cool person on the planet.
God damn. I really, and I'm gonna have to. I know I'm gonna have to deal with it around the house because I'm a cigar smoker, but I'm not gonna sit like, oh, we're going for a drive in your car. I'm not gonna just pull out a cigar and start puffing away in your car. But they think that's okay to do with their douche flutes.
Right. Like like smoking in somebody else's car, smoking anything in somebody else's car is rude because it's gonna like fuck up the upholstery.
Yeah.
When vape, it's like, oh, it's cool, man. It's cool. I got a vape. It's like, no, you can't vape in my car.
No,
if you start vaping in my car, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna throw it out the fucking window.
And I know that we've kind of come to an agreement. He and I, my new roommate, that is, about. All right, well, we'll just do it outside. Everything's outside. We rent this house. Clearly, we should be doing it outside anyway, just to be overcautious.
Right.
But when I'm not here, he's gonna be like, oh well, it's fine to do it in here.
There's gonna be like Tom Cruise in that movie. He'll be like sliding around in his boxers and his little socks, and he'll be just vaping around, singing to like I like that old time rock and roll. It'll be like, the parents are gone, now I can vape wherever the hell I want.
Now I can vape all I want, and it's just even an annoying word, honestly, saying it over and over again.
Yeah, no.
But what should be like? What do you think should be my like petty revenge if he starts?
All right, here's what you do.
Because I'm not gonna like raise hell over it. It's not that big of a deal.
Classic positive reinforcement. You know how you add something in there negative.
Yeah.
Like so I'm just saying, like, he starts vaping around, you get like a spray bottle, and it's like don't put like water in there, put like piss in there or something, and just like start hitting him with it every time. Oh, it's just water. No, it's not. It's pee. Ah!
That's not petty or subtle. Spraying him with piss water. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think it would help though. I mean, you get him.
He'd
to
probably
stop.
stop, but he would also probably stop being my roommate. No, what could be like a? So he's making the house smell like his vape bullshit. Mm-hmm. What can I make the house? I mean, what can I make the house smell like to get back at him?
Dracar Noir. Just pull out the cologne.
What is that stuff? Is that from Taken?
What?
Is that from Taken?
The Dracar Noir is a type of cologne.
Yeah, that's what they said in the Taken movie.
That's what they say in Taken. They say what? Dracar Noir.
Dracar Noir. Yeah, famously. Do you not? Oh yeah, that's why I thought that was
really weird.
I thought that was a made up brand.
I've never seen Taken, but like if
you're not missing out.
No,
it's overrated as hell.
And I will kill you. No,
Taken 6, Liam Neeson's dog. I feel like they've actually made 3. Legitimately, they've made 3.
Yeah, no, it's like his daughter was taken, then his wife was taken, and then he was taken.
Who else could we take? And then his identity was taken. Yeah. It's a white collar thriller.
Harrison Ford's in there to tell everybody he wants his family back.
I want my family back.
Give me back my family. Yeah, no,
all right, well, we're coming up to the half-hour mark. We're going to take a quick break here, maybe refill these glasses. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Smoking Barrels podcast with Mike and Ben.
I have a phobia of carnies.
What?
So, like, there was a carnival down the street for, like, this church or this school, and they had, like, all these carnival rides, and I was like, I forgot. I'm afraid of carnies, man. Those guys, something about them weirds me out.
Are you talking about clowns?
No, not clowns. Like, I'm talking about, like, carnival people.
Just the people are in the carnival? You have a fear of them?
Yeah, like the guy that works, like, the spinny thing. Like
Ferris wheel.
No, not the Ferris wheel. Am I an idiot? No. I know what the Ferris wheel is. I'm talking about that, like, zero gravity spinny thing. Like, it's just in the middle of it with the sunglasses and spins around all day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I know that guy's, like, bored out of his mind hitting that, watching these idiots going, I'm having a great time. I know he's probably sitting there like, one of these days, I'm just going to unscrew everything and I'm going to blow this thing up. And I don't want to be there for that day, so I fear carnies because I think they're unstable lunatics.
Now, you're talking about, around here, you can get one of them that, like, it's like a traveling one that it sets up in a field or whatever for a church event.
Right.
Those always seem so sketchy to me.
There's nothing, like, building that up and going city to city, that thing's got to have rust out the ass. Right. I mean, there's no way that's safe.
It definitely does not seem trustworthy.
Not to mention the guy that travels with it. There's something about the people that travel with the carnival stuff, the carnies themselves. I'm just like, they're off. There's something off about them.
You think they make any money?
No, I just think they go city to city being weird.
Because I didn't even think about that. But yeah, if they have to travel with the equipment, you know, to all these towns and stuff, that's kind of weird. Like, that group must be a real insular cult.
Yeah, because you can't really crash course working a ride just in case,
a day.
Because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a guy going city to city, working your small town to small town, not city to city, for God's sakes, small town to small town, working these things, and there's no way you're just straight up like normal person.
Speaking of those spinning rides that are you talking about the ones where, like, you stand with your arms by your sides?
Yeah, and you, like,
up?
lay on the thing, and it's like you just start, like, laying like a bug on a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good story about those. So Logan and Mason, two old friends of mine, we went to it was either Six Flags, Kentucky Kingdom, I can't remember, whatever it was. Maybe it was Holiday World. Those are the only three that you can go to around here. We went to it and we went on one of those rides, and there was this kind of fat kid that we were watching with amusement because, he was gonna. This was before I was fat, so I could still laugh.
Right.
I could still laugh. Now I could just chuckle to myself maybe. But those stalls that you get in, right? And there's very little actually holding you in there besides the force of it. At least when on this one. So you'd think that they'd your ankles and arms and everything else. No, it's basically just like one belt around your middle section.
Yep.
And then there's like little walls on either side of between the people. So they would hold you in there when it's spinning real fast.
Right.
And so this kid was like really short and wide enough to where he like really kind of had to like squeeze a little bit into the little part of the ride or whatever where he was standing. So anyway, whatever, fair enough. There's fat people out there. I'm now kind of one of them, honestly. But the best thing was he didn't look well to begin with. It looked like he'd been riding wooden roller coasters all day and was a little queasy. Maybe he had, giant thing of nacho cheese for lunch and 18 of those free soft drinks,
Nice.
So we were looking in there, and me and Mason and Logan were standing right here, and we were like, dude, this kid's going to throw up on this ride. I mean, he already looked kind of nervous and a little pale and all that stuff. Anyway, he was like not directly opposite us, but almost opposite of us to where all three of us could see him. So the ride starts up, and how that thing works is like, I assume this is the one you're talking about, where it starts spinning and then it tilts to the left, it tilts to the right, and you stay in because of the centrifugal force rather. So this kid, he's in there, and because of his mass, as it started to spin with enough force, you could actually see like his boobies and his cheeks and stuff start to move in like a circular way with each rotation. If it made a noise, I imagine it'd be like, he's like, and it was such a whole movement of the whole body, right? And man, this ride seemed like it lasted for a while. even to me, just like an average ride go, I was like, man, okay, I'm ready to get off now. It's been like at least, I feel like 5 minutes I've just been spinning in this ride. And so eventually, obviously, it gets to the point where he's going to throw up. And he starts to do it, but because of the way the ride is, it sort of just leaks out of different parts of his mouth at the time, right? So it's like, and it's just like a little bit out the left, and it comes back around a little bit out the right, and it kind of goes down on his shirt or whatever. So now you have this kid, and I really, looking back, felt so bad for him because he had to endure a good 30, 45 seconds left of spinning just with puke, just like on the walls next to him, and like it was covering him, like it was like a abstract piece of artwork where the puke was the paint, going all over him and all that stuff because of you like painting by moving the paintbrush and flicking it and all that stuff and going all over the canvas. And then the people next to him were just like you couldn't move, but they were just so desperate with all their might not to get it on them that they were just like so tense, leaning away from him. And that's my only memory of those rides. I don't think I've ever been on one since, honestly, out of fear of being next to somebody who is going to happen to.
It's kind of like going on the airplane and like being stuck with the middle seat. And you're like, God, I hope the guy next to me is not a complete asshole. Ugh. And it's like a 350-pound dude, and he's like bitching about his KFC or something.
Yeah.
And it's like every time you go to the bathroom, like every 10 seconds it feels like. Yeah. As it climbs over you, you're like, I'm going to die here. This is the longest, most terrible thing ever.
And he's sweaty.
So I hope to God, for the people's sake, as if not, I'm about to rip them, that they were already found their spots and he got there and they're like, oh, God damn it. Because if he was already there looking pale as hell and they were like, you know what, this seems like a good idea. We're going to stand next to that guy. You know what? I'm waiting till the next ride. I'll be like, you know what? I'm sorry if you're offended, but at the same time, don't eat a bucket of chicken before riding a ride like this that's fairly intense.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait till next time around.
Those people, you always see them at the amusement parks, and they must know that they don't have the stomach for these rides. But they feel like, oh, well, I was brought here, so I have to do this stuff, or else the people are going to be offended that I don't want to.
Right.
And all these kids, man, I feel like about half of the people at an amusement park actually want to be there. Because you get to, it's hot, you're walking around like 6 miles, and they actually design those things so you don't know where the exit is, so you just walk in circles and you can never leave, and you have to eat there for $45 for like a hamburger that's frozen and shitty. I don't know. That was what came to mind because of that that carnival story. But the guy running that ride, God, I mean, God help him. He must not be making that much money an hour, and he's got to go in and clean up the puke stall of the fat kid.
Oh yeah, who do you think like? All right, Tim, you're the new guy, so you gotta clean this shit up. I don't want to deal with that.
Do you think they have like a rapid response unit? That's their job.
I think they have a hierarchy. So it's like basically the new guys are the pledges, and they have to come in. Which is like, how low is your life sunk? You're like, you know what? I'm a carny now. I'm gonna go be a carny. I'm gonna travel cross country, going to these terrible small towns, to every small Protestant church in this godforsaken country, and I'm gonna go do this. Like, being the new guy as a carny has got to be one of the weirdest experiences ever.
It's very much like a cult, I imagine.
Oh,
Because,
I imagine.
they don't, they're driving all the time together, and there's got to be somebody who's like the leader, who absolutely is the end all of authority within that little group. I can't be. I mean,
For some reason, I feel like he wears a top hat, like a ringleader in a circus.
like the Bailey's, whatever it is, circus.
Yeah.
They, that's didn't that recently go out of business?
I think it was Ringling Brothers.
Yeah, finally. Although to be fair, who the hell would go to a circus these days?
Yeah, no. I mean, I went to a circus when I was like, real little. But
Did
other
you?
Than that, yeah.
I can't remember that I've ever been.
I was maybe 3. I mean, it was
You
back in the 1990s before there were
because there used to be a whole
cell
bunch of them, and they kept merging and merging until there's basically only one, and now I think they're gone too.
right, which is like, where do you, unless you're Siegfried and Roy with your white tiger in Las Vegas, where the hell do you go? Like, what can you do? Like, a tamed lions. This is a desk job. What the hell? Like, where do you go for work afterwards unless you're like a big name guy in the entertainment circus industry?
Yeah, what do you put on a resume if you've operated a spinny pukey ride for for 5 years, and then you got laid off?
So what are your qualifications? Well, I'm clearly reliable and I'm clearly good at holding a job, but other than that, nothing.
I can hit the button that makes it spin.
Yeah. I showed up for work every day and didn't get fired.
Do you need that here at this office supplies company? Yeah, well, Staples, maybe they got the make it easy button.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
exactly.
He can do that. He knows how to hit that
They'll
button.
just like pop out from nowhere, like after every purchase is made in the desk. And just, that was easy. And you're just like, where the hell did this guy come
I
from?
hope they don't pay you much. They don't.
I've lived going cross country from Motel 6 to Motel 6. Tonight we get to stay at a Super 8, guys. Everybody's like,
Oh,
yo!
Quality Inn. We're moving up in the world.
We did it!
God, I can't imagine staying at a Quality Inn. When we stayed in a hotel, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't quite the bottom, but it was almost the bottom. And those, you just don't, I mean, you got to sleep in the bed, in the bathroom, and all that stuff. I mean, it's really a lot of trust you put in hotels.
So wait, do you sleep in like a crap motel or a hotel, like a really crappy one? Do you sleep in the bed or on the bed?
On the bed, not in the bed.
I sleep on the bed because I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
And I don't trust those places. Like, we're talking about the Four Seasons. I'll sleep in the bed all day because I know they clean those sheets like 80 times before.
Yeah.
But in a Motel 6, it's like the random Eastern European guy. A lot of jabs at Eastern Europeans today. But the Eastern European owner who came here to for the new world and a new life, who owns a crap motel down the Jersey Shore, is the one who's cleaning the sheets while he's also working the desk, handing out 8 keys to people.
Exactly. He's not going to worry too much about cleaning the sheets in between.
I got a million other things to think about, including like how I'm going to get my family to this country.
who are still trapped in Eastern Europe, apparently.
Yeah. They're salt miners in the mountains of Bulgaria. Ooh, fun.
Salt miners.
Like,
you in Eastern Europe. Is that just a region of abstract poverty to you?
It just seems like a sad place.
Well, it's post-Soviet.
Well, that too, but I mean, like, because you got Western Europe, which is like this grand, like, not utopia, obviously, because they're still, like, any country they got problems, or any area they got problems, but it's new. People have jobs. There's industry. There's innovation going on. I feel like if you go 1,000 miles east, like before you hit like the really good parts of Asia, where tons of innovation is going on, it's just wasteland of nothing.
So for you, like from the former like Soviet satellite states in Europe over to like China, in the middle of that.
So it's like anything pretty much east of Poland, I'm scared of.
But west of China?
East of Poland, but west of China. That leaves out, of course, like Moscow and St. Petersburg, because I feel like those are legitimate metropolis cities.
Yeah.
But like we're talking when we go through Laos, Western China, Vietnam, like those areas that are not.
Well, that's Southeast Asia. Are you counting that as well?
I'm going like from between Poland and like where you hit Beijing.
Like the coastal China.
Yeah,
Like the advanced part.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like the mountains of China, I feel like are just like Eastern Europe still. They're just these sad barren wastelands.
Are you
with
telling me that
babushka
you wouldn't want to travel to Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, or Afghanistan?
Let me tell you this. The Kazakhstani people hate the movie Borat.
Yeah.
To me, I wouldn't, as if I was from that country, even though people be making fun of us for the rest of the time, I'd still be like, you know what? People at least know where we exist in like now, because I know what Kazakhstan is. I know where Kazakhstan is. I don't know where Uzbekistan is. I don't know where Turkmenistan is. I don't know where Azerbaijan is.
South and east, respectively, if memory
Yeah,
serves.
well, it's just like I know where Kazakhstan is, even though it's been made fun of by some weird English guy, but still, it's.
I would think Borat would actually be one of like the only things in the entire world that actually was good for tourism to Kazakhstan.
I would agree.
I mean, who else in America? Which I don't want to say we're the exclusive. We have a monopoly of tourists in the world, but you got to figure a lot of Americans and Western Europeans make up the tourism industry as a whole. Obviously, the built up, more developed Asian countries are getting in on that now too. But I think Kazakhstan is one of those places that are we even allowed to visit? I want to say that for a long time we weren't, like even until like less than 10 years ago, we actually could not go there.
I feel. How do you even get there too? Like you ride a biplane, then a bus, then maybe a train. Not like one of those like really nice bullet trains they got in like China and Japan. I'm talking about one of those choo-choo using steam engine trains, and you just kind of roll in there with the cargo.
Yeah, it's very sparsely populated, and I think they still have a problem with like the traditional plains. Like descendants from like the Mongols, those type of cultures. There's probably a better word for them that I can't remember, but they're like the traditional horsemen type people. They still have this tradition where they kidnap their brides. And I think that would you kind of probably need to address that before you start opening up your country to tourism, because if somebody witnesses that, they're probably not going to come back.
No, they'll probably be very confused as well. You're going to get that huge culture shock of like, wow, they just pick that lady up. That's weird.
Vice did a documentary on it, and it's pretty disturbing. Some of these brides that like are 16-year-olds that just get kidnapped and taken away forever. It's like Jesus Christ.
Like I don't know how things like Vice do that, where they find these things. Like, oh, I found a story about like child brides or people stealing other people in Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan. Like, let's go there. I'd be like, oh, that's weird. I'm not gonna go there. I'll stay here where there are plenty of other fucked up problems.
Yeah, there's plenty of kidnapping here too. It's just the police don't ignore it. Apparently, the police turn a blind eye in Kazakhstan. They also all those countries, I think, with the exception of Afghanistan, have pretty much the same person in charge since the Soviet Union fell in the 90s.
Yeah, no.
Like it was basically just a dictatorship, especially one of the little tiny ones like Kyrgyzstan over there. Small country, literally like in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kyrgyz have the least foreign relations of any country, because why would they need to? I mean, who are they going to trade with? The other stands.
Yeah, what do you guys have? Calcium. And that's it.
What did Borat say? Was it
we have superior potassium?
Yeah, the number one exporter of potassium. That was a great movie. I was way late to the Borat party, but he did an interview a couple years after that released. It was I feel like 2008 or 9 maybe was when he did the interview. He goes, you couldn't make that movie today because of how visceral reactions people have to disagreements.
Right.
You know how he did that scene where he went to the
the rodeo?
Yeah, the rodeo, and did the I hope George Bush drinks the blood of every man, woman, and child in Iraq.
Everybody cheers for him.
And everybody's cheering and all that stuff.
Have you ever heard the thing about how the FBI apparently has a very thick report on a strange man from a foreign country riding across America in an ice cream truck with a bear?
Is that true?
Yeah, that's a thing. One of the greatest intelligence, no, not one of the greatest intelligence community in the entire world is sitting there going, oh, we got to check out this weird guy with an ice cream truck. What the hell?
This Kazakh reporter coming over here, fucking shit up. I love the when he brought a bag of poop down to the to the dinner and goes, "What do I do with this?"
Well, the thing is, with his new show, have you heard about the new show?
No, is he doing a new show?
Yeah, it's this thing where it was a big controversy where he interviewed Sarah Palin, and he was like posing as this like injured war veteran, and she was like all pissed off about it. Which I mean, it's I agree, you shouldn't impersonate those people, but he came out and he's like, I'm going after the careers of these Republicans. And I'm like, that's fine and all. But at the same time, the PC culture of the left, I feel like, is the one that's kind of going after the kind of things that you make.
Yeah.
Like, you could not make that movie now because I feel like people would be like, oh, you're not being, tolerant enough of people from Eastern Europe. You're being mean. You're threatening Southern. I'm sorry. Liberals think Southern people are really all stupid. Which
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, it's illegal to impersonate a member of the military. I don't know if it's illegal to impersonate a former member. I would hope probably the same thing applies, right?
Right.
Because you could trying to get benefits out of that or whatever. So I think that's pushing it. But I wish that. I think what he does is like basically he just throws a wrench into the middle of the national conversation, which admittedly doesn't take a lot of like nuance to do.
Right.
But I'm glad that somebody does it because at the same time as it's just entertainment and I actually laugh. It's one of the few things where I actually laugh out loud at these, at a movie consistently is the Sacha Baron Cohen movies. But it actually is a bit it has a self-reflective purpose for us, I think. Because we look at that and be like, those are Americans. Those are our people that are saying and doing these ridiculous things in response to him acting that way. Like the evangelical scene where he's talking about my friend Jesus, and all this stuff, and he's trying to get to California to marry what was it, Pamela Anderson maybe? I can't remember.
And
the
like
Baywatch. But those are people, and that represents a significant portion of the American population. I mean, I agree. It's comedic, but it's not a parody because those are real people.
Oh, it's raw. I mean, like the fact he's interviewing these people. I mean, they're openly. Like, he interviewed Roy Moore, and Roy Moore is openly saying really like crazy, fucked up things. And he interviewed another. I can't remember who it was, but it was a representative, and he was basically like down with arming like small children, which like. You got to understand, somebody's filming this, and it's going to go somewhere. You need to know that you cannot still not say certain things to these people, especially somebody you've never heard of.
Yeah. That
you're just talking to. They're like, oh, we're just recording it for a documentary. It's like, what do you think about arming children? I don't agree with that. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I don't want to arm a child.
Yeah, that's
I don't think it's super hard to do that. Like, so while I think it's stupid that he's going after their careers specifically of the Republicans and not after the PC people, I also think these people are idiots for sitting there and saying the things they say, even though they know goddamn well that they're going to be filmed doing it.
I kind of take issue for him going after specifically a political group. I think he should be the wrecking ball that he always has been politically and socially. Mm-hmm. He'd have a field day with some of these PC people.
Oh, I agree.
I think he might actually fear for his like personal safety though.
Yeah.
In some of these situations, if he was to go into like a Black Lives Matter protest and start,
he would die.
I mean, it's legitimately dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, and that is what I think has changed even since that movie came out is the militancy that people have about their political beliefs. They can no longer differentiate their personal identity from their political beliefs. And that's a huge problem because how can you ever change your mind, even when you should change your mind, if you're asking somebody to personally change their identity?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge problem.
I think it's not, I don't want to say victim culture, but it's like this going out and protesting and having a voice per se is now your identity instead of like, oh, it's something that I believe or something that I think is right. It's like, no, I work for this organization and they push this agenda.
Yeah.
So it's now become this big part of who I am. And it's trying to ask somebody to take down their core personage is such a huge ask for anybody, especially
Absolutely.
somebody that's as militant and as entrenched as some of these people are on both sides. I mean, regardless, both sides do it. But at the same time, the PC culture that he's not attacking, I feel like, is just as crazy, if not more so.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, yeah, it can't be overstated how difficult it is to constantly question your own beliefs for their legitimacy. It's much easier, it feels much safer to just say, no, I'm right, and I've got a few people that believe like I do, so I'm not going to ever venture out of this group intellectually, socially, politically, whatever. And I think, of course, this is by no means an original opinion, but the reinforcement you can get from selecting what you want to consume about the world.
Right.
What's happening. Oh, well, I'm going to not pay attention to that. I'm going to pay extra attention to this. I mean, you shouldn't be able to pick and choose. And I hate to pose the question, but do you not think that a system like the BBC in the United Kingdom is better because, yes, it receives state funding, and by that definition, it runs the risk of being quote-unquote state media, which we Americans, of course, have a huge distaste for.
Right.
But by the same token, it also, since they're not beholden to advertisers as much or private interests as much, do you not think that would be perhaps a better...
I don't know, because there's an example of a state-run media company, like back in Australia probably 4 to 6 months ago. There was this video that went viral, and it was these two women talking about male white privilege on a kids show that was state funded, and that's still agenda pushing to me. That's super damaging. Like you don't think a little white boy in Australia is probably going to sit there and go, "Oh wow, I'm fucked up." Like if it's supposed to be state-run media, then it needs to be right down the pipe. It can't sit there and be like this still agenda pushing, but it's okay because it's state run.
Yeah. Well, there's the difficulty there though is it would still be the responsibility of said hypothetical state-run media to report on the existence of that ideology.
Right.
Of the people who say male privilege, blah blah blah, or whatever. That does exist in the world, so they should be reporting on it, but they shouldn't be taking a side. They should be objectively saying this group believes this group believes this.
Right.
And I think they should probably leave it at that.
Yeah.
Trying to spin things into better ad revenue, which is what Fox and MSNBC and CNN and everybody does, right? It's why they report what they report. Mm-hmm. Like, you and I were talking earlier about the basically what is amounting to a genocide in northern Myanmar right now,
right.
The Rohingya ethnic group up there. The government is systematically eliminating these people and relocating them forcibly and everything else, but it's not getting any media coverage because it's so challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were the first to say, well, the first thing you have to do is explain to Americans where the fuck Myanmar is, or what it is. Oh, it's a country. Okay, well, where?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. The BBC's been covering it left and right because that is what they believe their purpose is.
Right.
And they're not as much beholden to advertisers, which of course that's changing as well. Because they want to expand and make more money and all that stuff, so they start to look more like American news agencies. But I don't know how did we I think didn't this start with a conversation about
Carnies?
About deviled eggs.
Oh yeah, well it all started with deviled eggs and Eastern Europeans.
My hatred of this, I won't say the name of the place, but I would, just if you see a flight of deviled eggs, just lower your expectations. I'm going to from now on take a grain of salt with my deviled eggs. Because it really was, it almost amounted to an existential crisis.
At this point, somehow this has become the first lesson to learn in this podcast. I don't know how many of these we're going to do for how long, but forever in the history of whatever this is, the first lesson people are going to learn is when you see a flight of deviled eggs at a dive bar, temper your expectations and be wary of what's about to come.
You absolutely should. There is very, very seldom can I say something that I believe absolutely, but that is one of the things that I absolutely believe. So I think we're coming up on, 56 and a half minutes, something like that we're running now. I think we could probably end it now. Any final thoughts?
Wear your seatbelt.
That was so lame.
Don't eat yellow snow. I don't know.
What the hell? Wear your seatbelt. What the fuck?